Hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
Hey guys, it's me, Steve, web contributor to 1061 evansville.com.
Okay, and we are going to continue our month celebrating Survivor Series and tag team wrestling with a conversation about a specific tag team. They returned to Raw on Monday. It was, I would say, kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the return wasn't too far away, but I didn't know they were going to be in the main event of Raw on Monday in that 10-man tag. But I'm talking about Jimmy and Jay, the Uso brothers.
Yes.
Now, we, if I'm not mistaken, from conversations over the previous months, we have differing opinions about the Usos. Correct me if I'm wrong, you're a fan.
I am a fan, yes.
Okay, go ahead. Elaborate. What do you think about them?
They're a throwback to the old tag teams of the WWF days. I like, they're brothers. They have the similar look, similar clothing. But, they put on great matches. It doesn't matter who they're with. They're always going to bring you an exciting match.
Okay, I'm not anti the Usos. I don't hate the Usos, but I definitely think they're overrated. One thing is, you mentioned that they're a throwback to the tag teams of the WWF days.
Yes.
And that's a statement I agree with. Almost, I don't want to say a clone, but not much separates them from, say, the Head Shrinkers.
Okay.
Not much separates them from, say, the... any Samoan tag team, really. If you're a Samoan, now, why are you laughing? Go ahead.
The one main difference is they speak English and they have a little more charisma.
Okay, sure. I feel like when you're Samoan, though, and you're a wrestler in the WWE or the WWF, that is your gimmick. You are just Samoan, and there's nothing else to you. You're just Samoan. This is a tag team. They can wrestle just fine. I wouldn't say they have great matches. I wouldn't say they have bad matches. I don't feel like you think of personality. Maybe if you watch Total Divas, but if you watch Raw, I don't see a lot of personality. But the floor is yours. Convince me.
You talk about. I think they have a lot of personality. I think what makes them a good tag team is both guys together create that one personality, and that's what a team should do.
That personality is just Samoa. We are from Samoa. We are related to The Rock. We're related to Roman Reigns.
But they're proud of their heritage.
That's every Samoan wrestler of all time. That's their. Yes, they are proud. They are strong. They're stocky. They'll beat you in a fight in real life, according to all the announcers all the time. But they're all that. That's just the gimmick. I think you may be, in my opinion, confusing personality with flashy colors. They do wear flashier colors than other Samoan tag teams have passed, but I don't see a personality when they wrestle. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not trying to come off like a hater. So they're not one of my favorites. Again, they don't take away from the show, and they can have a good match. If they were put into a good program with New Day, I could probably get behind it.
Yeah.
I don't get them, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of one of my things that, because you make fun of me because you think I hate all Samoan wrestlers, I just wish that there was something to differentiate them. The only one who stands out is Roman Reigns. His gimmick is more than just being Samoan, I guess. Now you're laughing again.
Well, now you don't like Roman because he doesn't emote.
Yes, but...
if he emoted, he may be more Samoan.
Okay, why... When the Usos make their way to the ring, when the Head Shrinkers made their way to the ring, when the Samoan SWAT team made their way to the ring, when Haku made his way to the ring, they always mention that they're Samoan.
Yeah.
Okay? Rikishi, everything like that. Roman Reigns doesn't get it every time. Roman Reigns is in that upper... But when Rock came to the ring, it wasn't always mentioned that he had Samoan heritage. Once in a while, it was that he had Samoan heritage. Because Rock found a way to stand away from the pack.
Okay. But do you blame them, or do you blame the announcers? Because the announcers are the ones that always bring that up. I don't blame the announcers, but I blame everything. The announcers are told to do that, I'm sure. Yeah. And that comes from the back. And... It's just kind of what happens when you're Samoan. That becomes your gimmick. Yeah, one thing that I don't like about Vince is he wants everybody to be very aware of everyone's race. Mexican, Samoan, black. They make it a point to point that out, what race these people are, and that's one thing I don't necessarily agree with.
Well, that's been around for as long as wrestling has been.
Yes.
You know, back in the day, your heritage determined whether or not you were a face or a heel.
Yeah.
You're from Iran, you must be bad. You're from Japan, you must be bad.
Yes.
You're from Canada, that's pretty close, not so bad. Come on in, Canada, you can be a good guy. Italian, you're an Italian stallion. We love pizza, we love spaghetti. Bruno Sammartino, welcome to the championship. You know, so that was a very big deal and still is. But where it becomes a problem is a team like maybe Los Matadors, who my understanding is are getting repackaged. But I mean, they're so over the top, goofy Mexican characters.
That's almost too far of a stretch to the throwbacks. Is going back to the gimmick. Being Samoan is what the Usos are. Being Los Matadors, I mean, they're not really fighting bulls.
And that's why that gimmick did not work out. It was, in my opinion, it's not because you had Torito. It was everything involved. A lot of people want to point the blame on the little bull, and I understand that. That's an easy out. I feel like this was just doomed from the start because it's so ridiculously over the top and not real. This could have worked late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, easily.
I mean, in fact, it did with the Matador. You know, like with Tito Santana. Like people. It was more acceptable back then, but now it's like you watch it, they stick out like a sore thumb because they're in a sea of people that aren't doing things like that anymore. You know, so that's what I feel. What do we need to do to the Matadors? Do we need to completely repackage them totally? Do we need to tweak them? Do we need to let them go? What do we need to do to make them acceptable to the audience, Steve?
We need to repack it. I don't think we need to let go because they are talented. I mean, they prove that in their matches.
Mm-hmm. They have fine matches.
People know who they are, so they definitely need to lose the mask. So I would definitely say a repackaging would be in order for them.
So do we continue to call them Los Matadors? No. Okay, so we change the name completely, but we keep them as a tag team.
Exactly.
Do we keep the little guy?
No, they turned on him. There's no real reason for him to stick around in that capacity. I mean, I know the crowds love him. I'm not a fan.
See, I think he can fit in with wherever they go, but I agree. I don't think it should be a Matador gimmick. And if it is still going to be a bullfighting gimmick, and you insist on it having El Torito, who I'm not opposed to, it needs to stop being so goofy.
Oh, yeah.
Can't they be tough guy bullfighters? You know, if you put Alberto Del Rio inside of one of those masks and you had him wrestled the same way, not as Los Matador but as Alberto Del Rio, he could look the part just as well as anybody else. I wish they would just take him a little more seriously, a little less cartoony on Los Matadors. But I agree, they could be repackaged.
Yeah, sometimes too much comedy is a bad thing, especially when you have talent.
Yeah, and with wrestling and comedy, you have to be really sure it's funny.
Yes.
You know, because it can really go from funny to lame incredibly quickly. Katie Vick, or
Santino Marella.
Yeah, there's so many examples of comedy falling flat on its face, and that could be a good topic one day, maybe after November. WWE farts in church. You know, just things that they think are funny and really aren't. So there you go. Steve, give the Usos a rating from A to F. Give them a report card.
I'm going to give them a B-.
A B-. I'm going to give them a C-. I just wish I saw more. I wish they did something to stand out more from just being Samoan as the gimmick. So there you go. That's our critical analysis of the Usos this month as we continue the road to Survivor Series. We're celebrating tag teams and Survivor Series all month long. We appreciate you following us on this episode of Post to Post. We'll have another episode on Tuesday. So for myself, the Rob, and for my tag team partner, Steve.
Oh, what a rush.